I know you've been wronged, betrayed. You've felt the flames creeping in, the heat building, the whispers of your enemies circling like vultures. They think they've done something clever, something small. They think it's just a little match, a spark that will fizzle out. But they don't understand. They never do. Oh, how they love to play with fire, don't they? They light the match, thinking they can control it. They think it's just a flicker, a temporary thing. But fire doesn't care about intentions. It doesn't care about who holds the match. It only cares about what it burns. And now, here you stand, with the power to turn their careless spark into an inferno. You've been the victim of their petty games, their small betrayals, their illusions of control. But this is different. You've crossed a line, and they don't even know it yet. They've made a mistake. They've miscalculated, because they forgot one thing. When you're the one holding the fire, the world burns on your terms. You see, that match, that tiny flicker, was the beginning of their undoing. They think they're in control, manipulating you, playing the puppeteer. But what they don't see is the true nature of power, the true nature of destruction. The fire that's now inside you, inside your very soul, can never be extinguished by mere sparks. It will consume everything, and it will consume them. But let's step back for a moment. This isn't just about them. This is about you, about how you've been pushed and pushed to the edge, how you felt small, powerless. They tried to break you. They underestimated you. They underestimated your resilience. You've been knocked down more times than you can count. But instead of giving up, you've learned. You've absorbed the impact, and you've grown stronger. They thought they could push you around because they had power. But what they didn't realize is that the power they used to try and control you was just an illusion. Their power came from the system they built, the walls they constructed, the rules they created. But power doesn't live in walls. It doesn't thrive in rules. Power lives in chaos. Power lives in destruction. And that's the kind of power you're starting to feel now. Oh, they thought they could toy with you. Maybe they whispered behind your back, laughed at your expense, sabotaged your progress, thinking it would make them stronger. But you weren't just a casualty in their game. You were the spark that would turn their little match into an uncontrollable blaze. The fire you hold now doesn't need anyone's permission. It doesn't need approval or validation. You were the one who felt the heat, and now you're the one who controls it. It's an undeniable truth that they didn't see coming. The moment when the victim becomes the victor. The moment when the one pushed to the edge decides that they are no longer the pawn, but the one who holds the pieces. They thought they could erase you, manipulate you into submission, make you doubt your worth. But now, they've opened a door. They've let something far more dangerous out into the world, a force they can no longer contain. You felt the weight of their cruelty. You've endured their ignorance, their selfishness, their malice. But here's the twist. While they thought they were breaking you, they were actually forging you. They were turning you into something stronger, something that cannot be ignored, something that will make them tremble. Now you stand in the fire, not as a victim, not as someone with nothing left to lose. No, you stand in the fire as the one who's reborn. You stand there, knowing what they've done to you, knowing the depths of their betrayal. And the flames? The flames are your choice. They don't burn you. They burn everything they built. The very system they thought was untouchable. The power they thought they had over you. It's all about to crumble. Because you're not just a survivor. No, you're something more. You are the storm. You are the wrath. You are the chaos they've unleashed, but couldn't control. They lit the match, but they didn't realize that in doing so, they ignited something much bigger than they could ever have imagined. This fire won't be quenched by their apologies or their false promises. No, this fire will rage until it consumes everything they hold dear. Now, let's talk about power, because what they never understood, what they failed to grasp, is that power isn't about control. Power isn't about holding people down or making them small. No, power is about letting go. It's about unleashing the chaos inside you. It's about freeing yourself from their chains and watching them burn as they try, in vain, to grasp onto something that no longer exists. Their power? It was built on fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of losing control. But now they have to face something far more terrifying. The unknown that's within you. They were so busy lighting their little matches, playing their petty games, that they never considered the real cost. You're standing here, the fire already licking at their feet, and they have no idea how far it will spread. They thought they were clever. They thought they could control the outcome. But they never realized the true danger of their actions. Because when you're standing in the flames, when you're no longer afraid of what's burning, you become something far more dangerous than they ever anticipated. The power of destruction is often misunderstood. It's not mindless. It's not chaotic for the sake of chaos. It's calculated. It's intentional. And it's ruthless. When the fire starts, it doesn't discriminate. It burns everything in its path, tearing down the walls, the facades, the lies. And that's exactly what you're about to do. You're about to burn it all down. And what will rise from the ashes, what will emerge from the destruction, that, my friend, is the question. Because when everything they've built turns to rubble, when the match they struck becomes an uncontrollable blaze, you'll be the one left standing. They thought they could control you, shape you, destroy you. But they forgot one thing. You don't just burn. You rise from the ashes. You rebuild. But not in their image, in your own. And when the smoke clears, when all that's left is their crumbling kingdom, you'll be the one who looks down at the ruins and realizes you've already won. They may have lit the match, but you've got the power to burn everything down. The fire is consuming everything. The smoke rises, thick and suffocating, filling the air with the smell of destruction. The world around you is burning, and yet you're standing amidst it, untouched, unmoved. While everything crumbles, you rise above it. You're not a passive observer in this chaos. No, you are the cause of it. The architect of everything they've built now turning to dust. You've felt it, haven't you? The rush of power, the satisfaction of seeing them tremble, watching them run for cover as the walls they built around themselves collapse. It's like a symphony of collapse. Every sound of crumbling stone and broken glass, a reminder of what they thought they could control. It's a feeling that most people never experience. But you've earned it. As the flames rage, they try to do what they've always done, surround themselves with defenses, with lies, with an illusion of control. But all of that is irrelevant now. Their kingdom is in ruins, their empire a memory. And you? You're not just an observer. You are the destroyer. You are the one who holds the reins of chaos. The real power is not in the fire itself. No, the real power is in what comes next. After everything they've built has been reduced to nothing, after all their walls are torn down and all their secrets laid bare, what will you do with the remains? What will you do when all their pretense is gone and you are left with the broken pieces? People, they'll tell you that revenge is empty, that it's fleeting. They'll tell you that it's an illusion, a high that eventually fades. But those people are fools. They've never truly been betrayed. They've never had the chance to watch someone's life burn down and rise from those ashes as something greater. This is not just about revenge. This is about transformation. It's about creating something new from the destruction. The destruction isn't the end. It's the beginning of your evolution. You are not just seeking to tear down what they've built. You're going to rebuild it. On your terms, with your rules. And that's what scares them. They built their empire with arrogance. They thought they could keep you in your place forever. But now, when their empire lies in ruins, they realize something they never expected. You've become something more. You've become the embodiment of what they never dared to dream of. Power, freedom, and control. Freedom from the shackles they tried to put on you. Freedom from their manipulation. Freedom from the constraints they set on you, trying to mold you into something they could manage, something they could use for their gain. But now you are free. You are unbound. You are a force that cannot be controlled. And they can only watch as the very thing they feared comes to life before their eyes. They played with fire, didn't they? And now they have to face the consequences. But it's not enough to watch their kingdom burn. You can't be satisfied with the destruction alone. You've seen what their empire is worth. Nothing. It was built on lies, on manipulation, on greed. They thought they had you. They thought they could make you small. But now, you have the power to build something better, something real. What comes next, after the fire consumes everything, is the real challenge. The challenge of rebuilding. The challenge of taking what's left, what remains from the ashes, and forging it into something unrecognizable. You've tasted the bitterness of betrayal, the sweetness of power, and now you must decide what kind of ruler you will be. They failed to see it. They failed to see that destruction isn't just about tearing things down. It's about shaping a new order. They built their kingdom on weak foundations. But your foundation? It's forged in the fire. It's strong. It's indestructible. Because you built it yourself. And when the ashes settle, when the world around you is nothing but rubble, you'll see something they never did. They were too busy stacking their walls higher and higher, ignoring the cracks beneath their feet. They thought their empire would last forever, but they never considered what would happen when the fire came. And now, with everything they've worked for reduced to dust, you will step forward, not as a victim, not as a pawn in their game. No, you'll step forward as the ruler of what comes next. The fire may have destroyed everything they held dear, but it's created something new in you, something far stronger, something they could never have built with all their schemes and lies. In the ashes, you'll find clarity, clarity of purpose, clarity of power. You'll see the truth that they could never see because they were too busy playing their game of control. But now, the game is over, and you're the one left standing. This is where their story ends, and this is where yours begins. But be warned, now that you've taken control, now that you've seized the power they tried to keep from you, there is no going back. The path ahead is not for the faint of heart. It's a path of destruction, a path of blood and sweat, a path where you can only rely on yourself. No one else will understand. No one else will know what it's like to burn everything down and rise from it. You've seen their empire crumble, but that's not the end of it. No, the destruction is just the beginning. Now, you have to decide, what do you do with the ashes? What do you do when the world is yours to rebuild? The fire will consume everything in its path, but it doesn't stop there. It forces you to evolve. It forces you to face the truth of who you really are. It forces you to look into the mirror and see the person you've always been, the person you've always been capable of becoming. The destruction was necessary. It had to happen. But now, you must rise above it. The kingdom is yours. You've burned their world down. But now, you have to build your own. And you will do it on your terms. You will reign over this world, not as a puppet to their schemes, but as the one who shapes reality, as the one who decides who rises and who falls. The world you've built now is not a kingdom of stone and mortar. It's a kingdom forged from the darkest parts of your soul, from the very ashes of what once stood before you. They never saw this coming. They were blinded by their arrogance, too caught up in their own success to notice that the real power was never in what they created. No, the real power was in what you were capable of destroying. But that destruction was only the beginning. A new phase begins now, one that demands your undivided attention, one that demands not only strength, but wisdom. For while they thought their empire was built to last, your empire is something else entirely. Your kingdom is born from fire, from the smoldering ruins of what they considered unbreakable, and it will rise, not with mercy, but with purpose, a purpose that was always yours, hidden beneath layers of doubt and uncertainty. The greatest rulers of history never started with luxury. No, they began from the bottom, climbing from the very pit that society cast them into. They know what it means to start from nothing, and that's exactly where you are now, standing on the precipice, where everything that once held you back has burned away. But that doesn't mean the battle is over. It's only just begun. A true ruler doesn't rise just by tearing down others. A true ruler knows the delicate balance between destruction and creation. Destruction clears the path, but creation is where the real test lies. You stand at the threshold of something far more dangerous than anything you've encountered before. It's easy to burn things to the ground, to take away what's already fragile. But the real challenge is what you choose to build in the aftermath. They had their time. They had their moment of glory, their moment of triumph. But what they failed to understand was this: a house built on lies is destined to fall. And now that their house has crumbled, the ground is fertile for something new. Your kingdom is not a repetition of theirs. It's not a reflection of their power or their success. Your kingdom will rise with a foundation that's unshakable. Your kingdom will be built with blood, with sacrifice, and with the scars of the journey. But most importantly, your kingdom will be forged with clarity, with the knowledge that power isn't a gift. It's something you take. They fought for control, for dominance. But control is an illusion. Dominance is nothing if it's not rooted in fear. And fear? Fear is a tool that can either consume you or make you into something unbreakable. You've already chosen which path to take. You've already tasted the bitter satisfaction of revenge. But now, you must choose to rise beyond that. Rise beyond the need to prove yourself to anyone but you. This is your moment, your world, and you decide how the story unfolds from here on out. You've made your mark. The fire has swept through their world, reducing everything to cinders. But your mark is left in the shape of a king, a ruler who has seen the worst of what life has to offer and emerged from it stronger. You are no longer the person you were. The fire has burned away your weaknesses. It has stripped you down to your truest form. And now, with that raw power, you stand ready to carve out your place in this world. But let's not fool ourselves into thinking that just because you've burned the old world down, the new one will come easy. No, it won't. Power is not handed to you on a silver platter. You must take it, over and over again. You will face challenges. You will face those who want to take from you what you have rightfully claimed. They will come, trying to crawl back from the ashes, but they won't understand the force they're up against. They won't understand that you're no longer the victim. You're the monster they should fear. Every ruler faces opposition. Every king faces the shadow of rebellion. But rebellion is only an illusion of power. In the end, it's just noise. Empty threats from those who never had the strength to do what you did. Let them make their moves. Let them plot in the shadows. But know this, you are no longer the one who hides in the dark. You are the darkness, and in the dark, you thrive. Those who thought they could stop you, they thought they could break you, they are nothing now. Their empire is dust. Their voices are silenced. The only sound left is the echo of your footsteps as you march toward the throne that is rightfully yours. But don't mistake the quiet for peace. It's not peace you'll find in the silence. It's power, and the price of power is paid in blood. So as you stand atop the ruins of the old world, with nothing but a sea of broken dreams and scattered hopes at your feet, you realize one thing above all else. You didn't just burn their world down. You've created something much more dangerous than a simple revenge. You've forged a legacy that will be remembered not for the flames it rose from, but for the empire it built. The power you hold now, it's not just about destroying the past, it's about shaping the future. You've watched their world crumble, and now you can build a new one that will be stronger, one that will make them tremble from beyond the grave. And the best part? You don't have to answer to anyone. You've won. You've succeeded. And you're going to make sure that no one ever forgets how the flames of your revenge shaped this world. You stand tall, unyielding, the ruler of the ashes. And you know that nothing in this world can ever threaten the kingdom you've risen to create. Now, this is your domain. This is your world. They lit the match, but you've built an empire from the blaze, and you will reign. Not with mercy, not with hesitation, but with the cold certainty of a king who knows what it means to rise from the fire. And you'll watch the world burn again, but this time it will be you who stands above the flames, watching it all unfold.